Thank you, Honourable Speaker. This is the hottest October on record. It's been almost 3 months since it rained. The rainforest is on fire. Cedar trees are dying. In Heiltsuk territory, tens of thousands of salmon died before they could spawn. This government has said they care about climate change, but their actions show otherwise. They continue to approve old-growth logging. They have failed to meet the requirements of their own Climate Accountability Act, and they have subsidized LNG Canada's new fossil fuel infrastructure. But it's not just what the public sees that should concern all of us. It's what's happening behind closed doors that's also alarming. In a climate emergency, this government meets with oil and gas lobbyists, sometimes more than 80 times per month. This government has chosen to expand fossil fuel infrastructure and use public funds to massively subsidize LNG Canada, more subsidies than even the BC Liberals were willing to offer. Their actions do not match their words. Through you, Honourable Speaker, to the Premier. He may not be able to make it rain, but he can fulfill his promises to the public and his duty to protect public interests over private interests. We are in a climate emergency. Will the Premier and his government commit to limiting the number of meetings they have with oil and gas lobbyists?
Government House Leader.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I thank the member for her question. As the member knows, in this House, because when she sat in the previous Parliament, we worked very hard on a climate action plan. That climate action plan is in place. Our government takes its commitments under that extremely seriously. In terms of our oil and gas and how they fit into that and the work that's being done on those areas, it's cross-ministry work to ensure that we are working to ensure that our climate action plan that we have in this province is one that works for the people of this province and meets our goals, and we will continue to do that.
Leader of the Third Party Supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I did a quick review before coming in here, and the lobbyist registry, which exists because of the agreement between our caucus and the government in the previous Parliament, now exists, and we can see the lobbying activities. Over 1,100 times oil and gas lobbyists met with this government in 1 year. It's not just that this NDP government meets with oil and gas lobbyists. Oil and gas lobbyists are embedded right into their party infrastructure. They aren't just acquaintances, they aren't just friends, they are family. This government's regular political pundit, Mo Sahota, is a lobbyist for wood fibre LNG. The Minister of Health's former Chief of Staff and the Minister of Jobs' former campaign manager, Stephen Howard, is a fossil fuel lobbyist. Their former provincial director, Michael Gardner, lobbies for Tourmaline Oil Corporation and Pembina Pipeline Corporation on behalf of Strategies 360. The list goes on. The governing party's chief election officer, the very individual recommending the disqualification of a climate activist from their leadership race, is herself a former fossil fuel lobbyist. Tell me again, this government is not beholden to the corporate interests of fossil fuels, because this seems like a heck of a lot of connections. Honourable Speaker, my question through you is to the Premier. How can the public trust that this government is acting in the public interest when oil and gas lobbyists are so deeply embedded in their own party infrastructure?
Minister of Environment.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I simply reject the member's premise, although I thank her for the question. And I think it's important to point out that we meet from people who are classified as lobbyists from many perspectives. Let me talk about it from the number of people I meet with. I meet with representatives of environmental organizations who want to protect particular areas of land or conserve particular areas of land, some of which we entertain and some of which we don't. I meet with people who want to talk about our climate plan and how effective it is. I also meet with representatives either from or on behalf of the oil and gas industry. And let me tell the member what we talk about, and then let me ask the member and the public, through you, Honourable Chair, whether they would rather I not have these conversations. Among the conversations I have with them are meetings to seek to clarify how they can meet the climate objectives that we've laid out in policy, what the sectoral targets for oil and gas mean, how we can work with them to reduce methane emissions to help meet the targets. And I also talk to them about their plans to transition to different forms of clean, non-carbon energy like hydrogen. So, through you, Honourable Speaker, I would ask the member, would the member on behalf of British Columbians rather that we not talk to an existing industry in British Columbia employing many people and supplying, for now, energy that people use, about how they decarbonize as quickly as possible and transition to clean energy, which is where the world is going?